I liked Mr. Fridley. I think he was a really good influence for Lee.
He was, and I think he was keeping his eye out for Lee. You know, when Lee's mom had to leave so early to go to work in the morning,
Yes.
and Lee had to stall so that he didn't get to school
so slowly to school.
too early, Mr. Fridley picked up on that and came up with a job for him to help with, you know, putting the flagpole, or putting the flag on the pole every morning, and I think that was him just being conscious of Lee's needs.
Well, and also, what a great male role model for Lee when his dad wasn't necessarily giving him the positive influence that he needed. Okay, and then the last connector that I had is, and this one I really liked, is that Lee wrote to somebody that he admired, and he, you know, said, I want to be a famous author just like you. I want to, you know, I want to do this just like you. I think he said, like, maybe even something about growing a beard or something like you. But I think, you know, I feel like definitely when I was young, I would write letters. I didn't necessarily mail them all, but I definitely know that I would like write to famous people that I wanted to be like. And of course I never got a response, but that was like the days where after school programs had like teenagers, like even on the local channels, I think there was, you know, like local teenagers that, you know, that there are people that you look up to and you really like. And I think it was good that Lee had a smart, intelligent, like positive person that he wrote to. And I think it's also really cool that he wrote back.
Yeah.
You know,
most people probably
right. How often does that happen? So I think that, you know, I put in here that, you know, I have definitely written to fan clubs or, you know, it's before the internet, but people could Facebook and Twitter and stuff like that. It's a total possibility at this point to tell the Kardashians how awesome or not they are, you know?
Yeah.
Well, something I was kind of wondering about is, I wonder, you know, after Mr. Henshaw had written all these letters, or written all the questions to Lee, and he started finding out little pieces of Lee's life. He has no friends, that his dad took off, that blah, blah, blah. I wonder if Lee had not been going through this experience, if Mr. Henshaw would have kept up the correspondence, or if he recognized that Lee needed him, and, you know.
That's kind of what I'm thinking too. I mean, it helped him in a lot of ways, writing to him, so, yeah.
Anyway. All right. So that's what I have for connectors.
Okay.
Do we want to go over inferences?
Sure.
All right, inferences I don't feel so great about. Kind of hard for me, but the first one I put is that Lee is definitely hurt by his father, and not only hurt, but he has a bunch of emotions, and I think that he is mad at his dad for, you know, for some of the book also. And on page, you know, just for example, on page 62, he says, I think he's talking to his mom at this point. He says, I still feel terrible, I still feel terrible. If Dad loves all those things so much, why can't he love me?
That's sad.
It is kind of sad. And you know what else I thought was really sad, which they didn't make it totally heartbreaking in the book, but when Lee is on the phone with his dad, and then he hears a little kid.
Yeah. They're going to
get pizza, yeah.
I mean, I feel like Breakdown should, I feel like I might have probably had a small panic attack.
Yeah.
Well, but he hangs up with him in that conversation, doesn't he? He does. He says, I don't want to hear any more about this when Mom's paying for this phone call or something like that.
Which is so thoughtful. Nice little kid. I don't think I ever considered my mom's long distance bills back in the day, but so anyway, so I think that, you know, one of the inferences I have is that a lot of his emotions come from his father, especially being hurt and mad. And then also one of the inferences I put is his resourcefulness and his creativeness. You know, he comes up, like, I thought it was so funny that he tried to put a fake name on his lunchbox so that people would stop stealing his goodies out of there. I thought that was a really creative, funny idea. And then what a boy thing to do to build an alarm.
Oh, yeah.
You know, but I mean, that is totally resourceful and creative. He got a book from the library. He went to not the furniture store, the
hardware store.
The hardware store. The guy helped him out. You know, like that. I mean, that's pretty legit work. I
wouldn't know how to do it.
Yeah. And I feel like building an alarm is something I would be like, there is no way. Like, I don't even know that I would have. And that's probably the difference in a boy. But you know, he was like, I'll just build one. I'll just get a book and ask the hardware man how to do this, and he did it.
Yeah.
And then also put that he Oh, hold on. So for my example on the resourcefulness, I put Lee borrowed books from the library, bought supplies, and all that is explained on page 98. And then for my third inference, I put that Lee is compassionate and empathetic towards others. So on page 103, his alarm has gone off, and let's see, maybe. Oh, so his alarm goes off, and he ultimately says, like, I'm glad that I don't know who did it. And he says maybe he was just somebody whose mother packed bad lunches, and it goes on and ultimately says, I'm saying I'm glad I don't know who the thief was because I have to go to school with him. And I think that you can take a lot away from I have to go to school with him. Is it like I don't want to have to go to school with you and be mad at you, or I feel sorry for you, or like I think everybody kind of takes away a different meaning from I have to go to school with him. But I thought that, it's kind of a compassionate statement to say, I don't want to know just because I don't want to have to go to school with you.
Well, he made the choice. He could either feed
Rat
the
him
cycle
out.
of being angry, him being angry that somebody was, snatching his lunch, and then the kid getting angry that he got caught, and then him being angry that he was mad at him. Or he could just step back and say, done,
Yeah,
That's
really
kinda how
mature
we-
decision.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely a mature decision.
Okay.
Okay.
How are we on that?
27, there. We have about 5 more minutes.
Okay. Well, going through the summary, I think that one of my favorite parts in the book was when Lee's dad sent him that down coat on Christmas through another trucker. And I don't know, I kind of didn't know what to think about that because Lee seemed really, really happy about it. But I don't know, I would be kind of mad. I mean, Dad didn't call, Dad didn't come visit, he just sent this coat. So what do you all think about that?
I totally agree. And he not and it wasn't like a big letter or a big, it was, I feel the same way. Like, Lee was excited, but for me, I would have been like.
I think he was just glad to see any connection to his father.
That his dad went out of his way to get it to him too.
Exactly. I mean, him saying that's what he's always wanted. I don't think that's probably what he always had wanted. But he did want connection with his dad. He did want to know that his dad, acknowledged him and thought of him in some way, which his dad did. I mean, you have to give
Credit where credit's due.
And the mom
So-
was really supportive and excited about that too.
Mhm.
I don't know if maybe he really needed a coat. I mean, maybe he really did.
Yeah,
Or
maybe
she
he was. Maybe he was really cold, and maybe it's just like the overly sensitive part in me. But I feel like at Christmas time, I would much rather have. I feel like I would have wanted my dad to have called or come to visit me or have done something a little, put forth a little more effort. I mean, it's Christmas time. You're supposed to be with your family. So, maybe he did really need a coat, but still, I don't know.
Yeah.
I wanted his dad to do more.
Let's see. So after Lee's dad let Bandit get away, and Lee was so upset about it, I think it's pretty amazing that he was able to find this dog. He must have felt really bad about it.
He must have felt really bad. And then also, I think that it kind of sounds like he put forth a lot of effort to get Bandit back.
Oh, I think so too. I mean, he was on the CB radio, and then at that point, that's when he actually came in person to see him, was when he found the dog. I guess maybe he was proud that he did that for his son.
Yeah.
Or maybe he just knew that he'd hurt his son.
That's true.
Like
Wanted to-
with the little boy taking him to the pizza place. I don't know. I think it was probably a makeup move, which was deserved, but still.
Yeah. Let's see what time. We started at 27. All right, so we're at 30 minutes. We're 2 minutes away.
Well, is there anything else we want to add? Or?
I just, when we sit here and talk about his dad sending the coat, I think about the postcards that Mr. Henshaw sent and how thoughtful they were. Like, Lee had just told him the story about Mr. Friendly helping him put the flag up, and he was telling him what was on the flag, and it was a picture of a bear on the flag, and the bear was upside down, and blah, blah, blah. And Mr. Henshaw then sends him a postcard with a picture of bears on it.
Mm-hmm.
Then, when Mr. Henshaw writes his next book, it was about bears. And I just